Welcome to this second teaching on the forgotten Beatitude, which is recorded for us in the 7th chapter of Luke. Yesterday, as we considered the experience and the inquiry of John the Baptist, we noted that even bold disciples with great experiences can and will doubt, and that doubts are sometimes God's messengers to the honest soul. They announce that God is on the scene to show us something new. Doubts often precede new levels of understanding. Today I want to begin to look at why John the Baptist doubted the messianic credentials of Jesus. And the answer's in the text. It tells us that John's doubts were birthed when he heard of what Jesus was doing and what Jesus was saying. We're tempted to think that our doubts arise from the activities of evil. But John's experience reminds us that sometimes Jesus' activities are the very soil in which our doubts take root. Our doubts can spring from seeing what Jesus is doing and hearing what Jesus is saying. As reports of Jesus' activities reached John the Baptist, he sent his disciples to inquire, "Are you the right one? Are you the real Messiah? Or have we made a mistake? Do we need to look elsewhere?" Now, what could it have been about Jesus' activities and Jesus' teachings that would cause John to desert his previous confidence and doubt if he even had the right man? Well, again, the text gives us the answer. And let me suggest there are several of them. First of all, John doubted, and we sometimes doubt, because Jesus doesn't always openly and immediately judge evil. You remember what John announced when he burst upon the religious scene? He announced a Messiah of judgment. John was looking for lightning. But as he listened to the reports, Jesus wasn't dispensing much in the way of lightning. Jesus was dispensing a whole lot of love. And John really couldn't understand that. I mean, he had warned of impending judgment. He had told the Pharisees their time was up. He had said the axe is going to be laid to the root of every evil in Israel. And yet now it appeared as if the axe was in the wrong hands. Herod and the corrupt religious leaders, they were still very much in power. And the predecessor of the Messiah, John himself, he was languishing in a prison at the whim of Herod. And to make matters worse, John learned that Jesus had prophesied that his followers would know persecution, something John had no trouble believing at that point in his life. John had earlier referred to the Messiah as one coming after him who was stronger than him. Well, where was that strength now that he was in prison? He had referred to a Messiah who would set the captives free. Well, John was a captive. Where was his freedom? You can see why John began to doubt. You see, we're tempted to doubt Jesus when he delays the obvious judgment of evil. But John forgot that God's delays are grounded in his grace. In his inaugural address, Jesus quoted from Isaiah, the 61st chapter, the 2nd verse. And it speaks of the favorable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of God. But Jesus stopped after the first phrase, the favorable year, and he didn't quote the second, the day of vengeance. Why? Because there was going to be a gap between the day of grace and the day of judgment. We now know it as the age of grace. We're living in the age of grace, and you should be very glad that you're living your life in the age of grace and not in the day of judgment. Now, John's problem with Jesus didn't die with John. It's the problem many from the nation of Israel still grapple with today. Because as you and I know, the great majority of Jewish people reject the messianic claims of Jesus. They're still waiting for Messiah. Why? Because like John, they anticipated the Messiah would bring lightning, and he brought love. They've rejected Jesus, quite frankly, because he wasn't messianic enough, because he didn't strike down the Roman powers, because he didn't liberate the nation state of Israel. And their doubts continue to this very day. and were a great concern to the Apostle Paul before he died. Tomorrow, when we come back, we're going to look at some other reasons why John doubted. We'll see you then.